keep seeing the whole human being that's there.
Exactly.
Okay? Keep seeing the whole human being. I had an experience recently, Loretta, where I won't go into the whole story, but I had serious seizures. You may have read about it or heard about it. And I was walking down the dock to the paramedics where I live, and on the walk, I had this deep sense that my whole being was filled with love. And it wasn't a conceptual idea, it was in every cell of my being. And then I stopped for a moment, and that love, which felt so supportive, started to dissolve everything. And love can have that capacity too. And it dissolved everything into what I would call an absolute absence. There were no characteristics in that absence, but there was nothing. There was no fear. There was no thing there. I came from that experience to the ambulance. The person who was accompanying me brought me to the ambulance. And there I had a serious seizure and went unconscious. When I woke in the hospital, I had severe paranoia. And my mind couldn't work with it. And the only thing I could do was say to myself over and over again like a mantra, right now, it's like this. Right now, it's like this. And that was for 48 hours. I'd stayed with that. I asked my teacher about it later. I said, suppose that was the moment of my dying. And he said, oh, it would be all right. And I said, what do you mean it'd be all right? My paranoia. He said, your paranoia was an effect of your brain. When you died, your brain would stop and the paranoia would go away and awareness would return. And it was a really deep and wonderful teaching for me. So remember, there's a whole human being there, Loretta. Keep speaking to that whole human being. When people are confused, we get confused. That's what happens. And we think we need to do something about it. There's a whole human being there. Okay? And I don't know where we are in terms of time. I don't track time. My brain doesn't track it.
Well, actually, our time is kind of up, but there's a couple more questions that have been waiting.
Okay.
How do you all feel?
I'm okay to stay on a little bit longer.
Okay.
Sure.
The next one is Gabriella. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone, again. I'll try and be brief. My question's actually in the chat, but I'll just read it out again. So it's more of a pondering. So the essence of the soul, and it's also tying into the Dalai Lama thing about how he says our nature stays true, perhaps to our soul. So kind of an existentialist question I want to ask everyone is the essence of the soul itself also changing, or does it really stay the same? And does it continue?
Frank?
Well, there are varying opinions on this, and even on the idea of soul, of course. All compound things are subject to change. Yeah? We know that. The nature of our nature, the background, we could say, for all things, doesn't have that same, is not subject to the same, that same law of change. Yeah. So it's, if we look, Suzuki Roshi used to say, if we look, we'll see that there's constant change coming and going all the time. And if we only see that, all we'll see is suffering. So we have to remember the background as well. Yeah. So, RD Ramdas, our dear friend, used to speak about, he used to say, I am loving awareness. And he talked about it for years, and then he finally became it. And when Roshi and I were with him, it was so clear to us that he was love. That's what he was. He did a lot of work to get there, to recognize that in himself. Didn't just come because, the nature of his nature popped up to show itself. He did a lot of work. And so yes, I think that we can know ourselves to be fundamentally who we are, essentially who we are. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Frank, that's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about when Hanuman was asked, "Who are you, monkey?" And he said, "When I don't know who I am, I serve you. When I know who I am you. When I don't know who I serve, or when I don't know who I am, I serve you. When I know who I am you."
Beautiful.
The soul is always trying to merge with its essence.
And, it was RD, it was Ram Dass who, when he was a little bit more talkative, that he would often share that line.
Okay, our last question of the evening is with Marie.